Now, you had mentioned Gorbachev just recently. What is the role of Russia in all these problems and in all this scenario of increasing conflict?
Well, I'll tell you, if you really want to look at Gorbachev in the light of truth and reality, you have to talk about Our Lady and you have to talk about Fatima. You can study the geopolitics of Gorbachev and admire his agility, by the way. This man is one of the cleverest geopoliticians we've known of in history. And the continual cry that he's just about to be beheaded, decapitated, or he's got to be ousted, or he'll be killed, or he'll lose power. It's such a joke. Every month he acquires more power. Every year he's more powerful. We even called him a man of peace and gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. And he was on the cover of Time. Oh, this man is marvelous. Again, public relations. Marvelous instinct for a profile among the nations. Now, but if you look at him from the point of view of the church, the only sure word we have about him is from Our Lady. Now, Our Lady was very clear in Fatima in 1917 on October 13. She was very clear about it all. And in the previous months, talking to the children. She said that the errors of the land, which Gorbachev now dominates, and of which he is the figurehead and the chief agent, the errors of that will spread everywhere unless certain conditions were met. We didn't meet those conditions, by the way. The Pope of 1960, good Pope John the 23rd, was supposed to fulfill those conditions. He didn't, for his own reasons, and therefore Our Lady said beforehand, she said way back in 1917, if they do not do this, if they don't fulfill my mandate, then certain things will follow. Two things chiefly. Unfaith will reign. The faith will be withdrawn. God will withdraw grace from Christians and from the world. And number two, the world will be punished by catastrophes the world has never seen yet. Now, Mr. Gorbachev is the key in that because he is the most powerful man in Russia, in the Soviet Union. We have to bow our heads, therefore, to a fact that in God's plan, and it's purely arbitrary, but God can do what he likes because he's God, in God's plan, salvation is not going to come from the West on the wings of our bombers and in our marvelous planes and in our marvelous fighting men. There's no salvation there. Salvation is going to come from the East. And it's not going to come because Mr. Gorbachev becomes a Christian and puts a crease in his trousers and adopts capitalism. No, he's not going to do any of those things anyway. It's going to come because she has chosen Russia as the place to operate the first great change, and it will teach the world, not because it's Russia, but because she chose to convert Russia at the last moment before the final crack, which will swallow us all up. And that is the message of Fatima, that Mr. Gorbachev, willy-nilly, this man with the sign of Cain on his forehead, the sign of the murderer, this man is a harbinger of the destiny of Russia in God's choice. Why did God choose that? I don't know. Will I ask God about it? No. You never question somebody who has absolute power. He has chosen that. Why? We don't know. I rather guess it is because, apart from the rulers of Russia, the people are a very humble, believing people. And in the West, we have grown fat with materialism. We're fat cats. We have a way of life the whole world wants. We're comfortable, and our sins are the sins of those who needn't sin at all. We needn't sin. We are so comfortable medically and scientifically and socially and politically compared to the rest of the world that we have the luxury to seek out God in a new way. We haven't. We've just sunk deeper into our sins, our sensuality, our materialism. We've forgotten God to a large extent as a system, the Western system. So that she has chosen that because that's the way she has decided with God the world is to be saved and the kingdom of Christ, the rule of God, is to be installed once again amongst men, for a brief period anyway. So that's where Mr. Gorbachev must be understood as that. Otherwise, if you try and reason your way through Mr. Gorbachev, he is inexplicable. Inexplicable. How this man has succeeded, and why he succeeded, and why we foment him, we treat him as a friend. He can do anything. He can kill Georgians, and he can kill Armenians. He can kill people in Baltics, deprive them of their liberty, refuse it, and we still give him the supplies we give him and the credits we give him. We still allow him make missiles which he promised not to make. We allowed him support Saddam Hussein through the war. We didn't do anything about it. We have this funny, there is a reason for the way we collaborate with him, and that's something, another theme which we must speak about, why we do permit Gorbachev to get away with it. But the essence of Mr. Gorbachev, I think, for any intelligent Catholic or Christian today, the intelligent way of understanding him is within the framework of Fatima. Otherwise, it's a jungle. It's a jungle. There's no rational explanation that would satisfy my mind.